Hi everybody, my name is Tony from Synergy Technology. I'm presenting today, Find Out More Friday, and the subject matter is dashboards. Now, we're going to be doing this over a number of different sessions because there is a lot to take in with dashboards. So today, and we'll call this session 1, this is the introduction. This is getting you going with the basics of dashboards. So if I bring your attention to SuperOffice, you'll notice in the top left-hand side, you've got SuperOffice. As is always the case with SuperOffice, you have two functions here. You have the icon, which switches screen. So if I go to company, or if we go back to dashboard, I'll just take a second to fire up, or I go back to the dashboard, or I can actually press the word dashboard, and that will bring me back all the dashboards I've used in the past or have created. So for the purposes of today, I'm going to minimize my left-hand menu bar so it shrinks it. And I have a full screen now of my current dashboard. We'll ignore what's there for now and go and create a new one. So I'm going to go to task in the right-hand side. I'm going to say create a new dashboard. So let me explain these fields to you as we type them in. So first of all, the name. So for this now, I'm going to give it a title. And I'm going to call it the Synergy dashboard. Okay, I have the ability here to see who the owner of the dashboard is. That's the person creating it. Okay, then to the left-hand side, I have the description. So the description should give a brief overview, if anybody else looks at this, of what this dashboard does. So I'm going to call. I'm going to keep this fairly high level. Don't worry about this that you see running in the corner. I have Grammarly running. I wouldn't run any web browser without it, which keeps my spelling, punctuation, and type in order. Then we have a theme. So the theme by default is default. Then we have a calm, a dark, and a dark mode. They're basically the color palettes that are used. Calm being quite a light, colorful dashboard. Dark, slightly darker, and dark mode, sort of next best thing to black and white. Then we have columns. So if you look just in the background here to the one that's behind, we'll see that we have 4 columns. Now, dashboards, when we create the tiles for the dashboards, can spread over multiple columns. So the columns can be adjusted, but that's the starting point. So for mine, I'm going to go for a 3-column approach. There's no right or wrong answer to columns. It's how much data you want to compress into the dashboard. The interesting thing when I've done dashboard designs for some of our customers is it all depends on the size of the resolution of the screen. So you can really compact in some really small tiles into sort of a 6, 7, 8 column design for a dashboard. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that because if some of your colleagues in the business have got a low resolution screen or laptop, they're going to struggle to get all that on the screen and be able to actually view it. The next bit we have is visible for. So visible for is, and this is very different to the old versions of SuperOffice now, this is allowing me to take the dashboard I'm creating and to give it to my colleagues. So in this particular one, I'm going to ask to push this out to my colleague Chris, my colleague John, my colleague Lara, and my colleague Trevor. This will now, as a dashboard, automatically go onto their dashboards. So that's not been available until SuperOffice version 10, so that's a big step forward. Then we have the option to pin to all. So what do we mean by pin to all? Pin to all means it's pinned as one of the first dashboards that you see. So when you go into the dashboard option within SuperOffice, if you have 30 dashboards, they will, as with all view screens, they will go along the top and then disappear off the edge so you can scroll through them. If I pin it, it means it's one of the first dashboards. It's the pinned ones at the front. So I'm going to say pin to all. I could, if I wanted, look at specific group to pin it to say the salespeople, they need this as their primary or one of their primary dashboards, but I'm going to pin to all. Okay. So by pressing save, that now puts us into a position where it creates a blank dashboard. And here we can see tiles, so 3 across, and then they just go continually down. So we're not specifying the depth, we're only specifying the width. So I'm going to add some tiles in. So the tile concept is here. And you'll see as I create one. So first of all, I'm going to go at company level. And I have a library of set dashboards. So I can pick one of these. So my company by category, I'm going to drag across. Now notice what that's done. That's now grabbed 4 tiles, so 2 across and 2 down, and put it at a displayable size. Now I can, if I want, pick it up and make it smaller. But at this point, it makes it unreadable. Or I can drag it. So that's gone now 3 wide, 3 down. And it makes it a lot easier to read. So I'm just going to take it back to where it was originally. So there we go. 2 across, 2 down. So now I'm going to pick another one and say companies updated this week. I'm going to bring that across. Now that's just a figure. Okay, so I might want to expand that now to fill that space. So I can drag it down. There we go. And that's my company's updated this week. Now I'm using a test system here. So being a test system, the data is a little woolly. And I've got no companies updated this week. So if I now switch into, we'll see that dashboard's alive. I'm going to go into a company. I'm going to change some information. Okay, I'm going to go back into the dashboard. I'm going to hit refresh, and you'll see there has now been one company in our system updated this week. So go back into tasks and back into edit dashboards. Now I want to combine on the screen some other information. So I'm going to drop down my tiles at the top, and I'm going to look at contact level. So now on contact, I have all of these pre-configured dashboards. So I want to bring my contacts, let's say with leads from forms year to date. So I'm going to bring that in. And I'm also going to bring in people who've unsubscribed this year. So again, it's a simple drag and drop. When I want to move it, or should I want to move it, I can pick it up and I can move it between tiles. You'll notice there that won't move to the right because it's going to snap back to the next available space. But again, I can do what I did earlier. I can make it bigger. And then I can make this bigger so it takes up the space and equalizes the screen. So let's just look on the right-hand side. We have pre-configured, and I've got to stress this, that pre-configured, these are out of the box dashboards for company, contact, follow-up, sale, project, documents, products, requests, chat conversations, form submissions, mailings, or other. I'll cover other in a later session. So at any point I can pick any of these and it will show me the predefined dashboards that are there. However, a predefined dashboard is only the start. We can change the data that feeds that dashboard. We can also change the way it's displayed. I'm going to cover that in a future session. And that allows us to do things like change from pie charts to bar charts, to stack bar charts, to area charts. It allows us to be specific about maybe the department that shows the data or shows the data of, whether we want to list view, etc. And again, we'll cover that in more depth. The other thing that we have, and I'm going to go back here simply to the company, is we have selections. Now, for those who've used selections before, you'll know that when you go into a selection, you can graph a selection. Well, if you save a selection that you've graphed, it makes that graph available here. So this now goes into the realms of being really whatever you want to get out of the system. If you can create it in a selection, you can display it as a dashboard. That gives complete versatility. So for instance, you might want, as you say here, my companies by category. So which ones are business partners, which ones are customers, which ones are prospects, competitors, suppliers, and trade partners. But that's my companies. I want to say, show me not only mine, but show me the whole business or my department, or show me the business plus the departments. So I get to see where all the customers sit, where all the prospects sit. Really, really easy to do once we start to configure these tiles that we've created. So using selections, I can pre-do those selections using the selection function and make those dashboards ready. I'll show you one other example. If I click contact, again, I've got selections by contact. So I've got the ability to see all the selections I've saved and be able to do something with them. Okay. So what else can we do before on another session we get into the depth of these? So one thing that's really important with dashboards is they're interactive. So if I look at this one here and I see customers, I've got 10 customers, which is 55.56% of my data. I can simply click and it will zoom in and show me each of those companies now. So I can actually look at the data. And one of the key strengths we know of something like SuperOffice is we can configure what we view. So not only do I want to see the company name, the category, and the email, I might also want to see, and let's have a look here, I want to see which country they sit in. By simply adding that in, that will now add a field, which we have to go slightly wider to see. And we're given that functionality here. It's all to do with screen width. And we're in a position where we can pick up and scroll. So I can just make this smaller so you can see it's there. And I'll take a couple off just so that it's easier to see. And just by adding that in, I now see the country. So I can now sort by country. I can also subgroup and filter. So whatever we want to do, we can do it from here. But I've also got down in the left-hand side, the ability to copy into another selection or to export that data. As we click through each of these, we know that the task screen or the information screen on the right-hand side starts to change in line with the company that I've selected. So what we've done there is we've looked at how to create a dashboard, how to pin it, how to create the tiles that are within the dashboard, how to move them around by simply dragging and dropping, how to resize those tiles to display the way I want them to be displayed. And we have one more thing to add, which is your personal favorites. So by pressing the star key, we create the stars so they're a personal favorite of yours. You also have the ability to drag your headings left and right to create your own priority. But pinned means they're always visible. One last button to cover on this session, which is this one here. Most people will know what that means, which is refresh. So what I've shown you here today is the ability for you to create standard dashboards simply by dragging and dropping from the ones that have been created by the software author SuperOffice, ready for you to use on your data. What we'll do in the next session is delve into these tiles and how we can configure them. I hope you found that useful, and thanks for watching #FindOutMoreFriday. Bye for now.